talking into the microphone.
Hey guys, what's up? Matthew Anthony Hawkins here. Today is Wednesday. I hope you're having a fabulous week. One of the things I love studying is the use of story. Story is used in everything. Books, movies, comic books, day-to-day life. We love to tell stories. I've been picking things up here and there, trying to just do some research and learn more, just leisurely, learning how a good story works. The Storyclock. And this is something that I learned from a guy that I love following online who they just released it February 27th, this past Monday. This awesome 80s royalty-free music pack, 14 tracks. It comes like broken down. Seth Worley and his brother, they put together this awesome pack. Link is down below, so be sure you check it out. I can't wait to start using it. Anyways, Seth Worley, he had a class that he put out, Writing 101. Link below. And in it, he breaks down the Storyclock and how a lot of great storytellers use a clock in order to tell their story. Take a look at this image. This is what it is. It's just a basic looking clock. And the way I find it easiest to do is you find out how long the movie is, find out how many minutes. And I find this is better to do when you're watching a movie for, second, third, 50th, 100th time. Don't do it with a movie that you're watching for the first time. It'll wreck your experience. And what you do is on your clock is you map out points starting at, say, the 12 o'clock hour, and then you work your way around when different points in the movie happen. Check the time code, write it down, write the event, and it starts to look very messy, and it starts to look very chaotic. This is the one I did with my kids for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it's interesting, Seth Worley in his Writing 101, he broke it down, and check out this clock here. There's some interesting points that get made when you take a look at the overlay of this clock on the story of Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones meets Marion, and when they first kiss, and when Indiana Jones discovers the Ark, and when the Ark is uncovered, when it's used. There's a lot of symmetry that gets used in the use of a story clock. Story clock is just meant as a tool to help you better tell your story. Help map out where you are, where you're going, where you want to be. Quick little note for you. I don't feel that I'm the type of person to provide the quality breakdown or the insight into how to make a great movie or a great story. These are just some of the things that I've learned along the way that I find beneficial and interesting, and I'm hoping that you might too. So I tried to do this story clock with a few different movies. I thought maybe it'd be kind of fun to start off with a bad movie. So I went to go put in Fast and the Furious number 82, and I just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. No. I decided I would do the movie Unbreakable, which I feel is a very underrated movie. People that haven't watched it aren't interested in it. They just see that it's some sort of weird comic bookish kind of movie, and who's not tired of comic book movies? But this movie's like 17 years old now. That's crazy. Anyways, it's one of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, Shyamalama Ding Dongs, and starring Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson. I started to break down the story clock for Unbreakable. Started writing down time codes and started writing down situations that happened that I found significant. And on this story clock, I almost wrote down every single event that's in the movie. I didn't want to just highlight the big events. I wanted to see if there was any correlation between what I learned from Seth Worley in Writing 101 and this idea of symmetry, that there's symmetry in a story clock. So then I took that messy story clock that I just showed you, and I paired it up with this one. I wanted to see the relationship of symmetry. And so here you can see within the first act, Bruce Willis just gone through a tragic event, major train crash, and he's the only survivor. Talks to the doctor, finds out he's the only one. Not just that, but he has no scratches on him, and walks out of the emergency room and he's holding hands with his wife. And then later on is the first date. There's a first date that Bruce Willis and his wife, they're having issues, and they're trying to work through things, and they decide to go on a first date a second time. Look on the story clock, it's pretty much straight across on the story clock. And then further, at the like 3/8 section of the movie, I'd say like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, the wife asks Bruce Willis for a second chance in the relationship. Can we try this again? And then you go straight across on the clock and you see that they get back together. Other things that stuck out to me when I did that messy story clock was kind of near the quarter of the movie, quarter of the way in, 3 o'clock. Bruce Willis is standing in the rain in his cape and watching over a football practice. And then you go right over across to the last quarter of the movie, and Bruce Willis is in his cape about to perform his real first act as a superhero. These bits of symmetry I find really interesting because it helps you plot out on paper where your story is and where you want it to go. So that I find interesting. Storyclocks, do some research on it. Check it out. If you haven't seen Unbreakable, I highly recommend it. Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Robin Wright Penn, they all are fantastic in the movie. I'm tired of the Marvel machine. And watching Unbreakable was kind of, even though I've seen it a bunch of times before and I already knew I loved it, it was a breath of fresh air. Just a good new take on what if Superman existed on the earth but didn't know he was Superman. That's how Tarantino wrapped up that movie. And to keep you up to date on my projects for 2017, the biggest one being this, my arcade cabinet that I'm working on. I have my joysticks and buttons all mapped out on the top of the joystick panel. And tomorrow I'm going to be cutting it up and drilling it and getting it ready to put together. I have all my parts. I have my wood now, and we are on the move. Pay attention to that for next week. I'm going to show you how the progress goes. Got my father-in-law, Murray, helping me out. Probably has no idea how much help I'm going to need, but hey, whatever. We'll go with it. I'm Matthew Anthony Hawkins. Today's a Wednesday. I hope you have a great week, and we will see you next time. Cheers.